in Chicago, where serial killer Charles Lee Ray is on the run from Detective Mike Norris. Charles's accomplice, Eddie Caputo, waits in a getaway van nearby. As Mike shoots Charles in the back, a police car approaches, spooking Eddie into fleeing, abandoning Charles. Desperate, Charles breaks into a toy store by shooting the lock. Inside, Mike lands another shot, mortally wounding him. Knowing he's about to die, Charles grabs a good guy doll and performs a mysterious chant. Dark clouds gather, lightning strikes, and the toy store explodes. When the dust settles, Mike finds Charles's lifeless body lying next to the doll. Andy spots a commercial for the good guy doll on TV and eagerly hopes it's inside his birthday gift. But when he opens the large present, he finds only clothes. His mother, Karen, hadn't learned about the doll in time to save up for it. Maggie suggests a solution. They find a peddler in an alley who sells Karen the doll for $50. Later at work, Karen's boss informs her that a coworker has called in sick, forcing Karen to work overtime. Maggie offers to babysit Andy, who is overjoyed to finally have his good guy doll. The doll introduces itself with a cheerful, "Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend till the end." Maggie insists it's time for bed, but Andy claims that Chucky wants to watch the 9 o'clock news. Despite her insistence, the TV later turns back on with Chucky sitting in front of it. After tucking Andy in with the doll, Maggie hears a noise down the hallway. Investigating, she finds spilled flour on the floor. As she bends down to clean it, she's struck in the face with a hammer. Staggering backward, she crashes through a window and falls to her death. Mike Norris later examines the scene and notices small shoe prints in the flour, which match the soles of Andy's shoes. Though Karen insists Andy has no idea how the prints got there, Mike points out that someone made them. If not Andy, then who? Meanwhile, Andy discovers flour on Chucky's shoes, but neither Mike nor Karen believes his claim that Chucky is the killer. Karen later finds Andy talking to the doll, who reveals his real name is Charles Lee Ray. He says Maggie was a real bitch and got what she deserved. The following day, Andy takes Chucky to school but quickly sneaks away once Karen is out of sight. Instead of heading to class, Andy boards a train and makes his way to the house where Eddie Caputo is hiding. Leaving Chucky in a chair, Andy steps outside to relieve himself. From a first-person perspective, Chucky sneaks into the house, turns on the gas, and leaves the oven open. The noise wakes Eddie, who cautiously approaches the kitchen. As he opens the door and fires his gun, the house erupts in an explosion. Later at the police station, Karen pleads with Andy to tell the truth, warning him that he could be taken away from her. Desperate, Andy tries to get Chucky to speak, but the doll remains silent. Andy, however, seems to understand, whispering, "He told me never to tell about him or he'd kill me." Dr. Ardmore decides he's seen enough and suggests that Andy stay with them for a few days. Meanwhile, back at the apartment, Karen becomes increasingly desperate to get Chucky to talk. She picks up the doll's box and is shocked when the batteries fall out. They were never even inserted. She quickly checks the doll's battery compartment, finding it empty. Suddenly, Chucky's head spins around, cheerfully saying, "Hi, I'm Chucky. Want to play?" Terrified, Karen drops the doll. Desperate, she threatens to throw Chucky into the fire if he doesn't speak. In response, Chucky erupts in rage, shouting endless expletives. He then bites her arm before she throws him off. Chucky bolts out of the apartment, and while Karen races down the stairs, he vanishes by the time she reaches the ground floor. With nowhere else to turn, Karen goes to Mike Norris, but even the bite mark on her arm isn't enough to convince him of Andy's story. Determined, Karen decides to track down the peddler who sold her the doll. Mike warns her that's not a safe part of town to be in at this hour. Karen tracks down the peddler and demands to know where he got the doll. The peddler asks, "What will you give me if I tell you?" Desperate, Karen hands over her money, but he dismisses it, saying, "It's not enough." When Karen insists it's all she has, the peddler suggests she has something else to offer and begins to get aggressive. Just then, Mike shows up, brandishing his gun to scare off the other bystanders. After some forceful persuasion, the peddler reveals that he found the doll in a burned-down toy store on Wabash. Mike then connects the dots, remarking, "That's where Charles Lee Ray died." A little while later, Mike is sitting in his car when Chucky suddenly attacks, using a cord in an attempt to restrain him. Struggling to regain control, Mike grabs the car's cigarette lighter and uses it to defend himself. Unfazed, Chucky tries to get through the back of the seat as the car flips over. Confident, Chucky mocks Mike, believing he's invulnerable, until Mike shoots him, causing Chucky to react with visible distress. Shocked, Chucky seeks out John Bishop for answers. John reveals that Chucky is gradually becoming more human. The longer he remains in the doll, the more human he becomes. Desperate for a way out, Chucky begs for help, but John refuses, declaring, "You're an abomination, a perversion of everything I've taught you. You've misused my teachings, and you must be stopped." Chucky had expected a confrontation like this. He starts tormenting a voodoo doll that looks like John, damaging its limbs. John explains that for Chucky to transfer his soul, he must inhabit the first person he informed of his survival, which turns out to be Andy. Chucky thanks John and damages the voodoo doll's heart. Mike and Karen arrive just in time. John manages to tell them about Chucky's plan to transfer his soul into Andy and explains that Chucky's heart is nearly human. The only way to destroy Chucky is by targeting his heart. With that, John passes away. Chucky arrives at the mental institution and finds the keys to unlock a door. Pulling off the bed covers, he finds only a pillow underneath. Andy takes this chance to escape the room. Real quick, I just want to say this scene is laughably distracting. Anyway, back to the video. Dr. Ardmore tries to restrain Andy, attempting to sedate him. Meanwhile, Chucky grabs a sharp object and uses it on the back of the doctor's leg. The doctor collapses. Chucky then attaches a device to the doctor's head and increases the intensity. The doctor's face changes and a reddish liquid starts to flow from his mouth, leading to his unfortunate demise. Returning home, Andy quickly barricades the door and finds a baseball bat in the closet. Chucky comes down through the chimney and overturns the fire guard. Andy swings the bat at Chucky but misses, and Chucky counters by knocking him out. Chucky then begins his ritual. Mike and Karen force their way through the barricade. Karen grabs Chucky, but Mike intervenes, pulling Chucky away from her. Chucky retaliates by injuring Mike's leg and then using the bat to attack him, targeting sensitive areas and hitting him on the head. Sorry to keep interrupting, but this dude looks too ridiculous for me not to bring attention to it. Continuing on. Karen shoots Chucky in the leg, leading to a struggle where Karen traps Chucky in the fireplace. Andy ignites Chucky, who starts to burn while trying to climb over the sofa. Andy retrieves the first aid kit for Mike, but Chucky disappears. A small foot trips Andy, revealing a damaged Chucky with a knife. Karen shoots at Chucky, causing parts of him to break apart. She then shoots the doll's body twice. Mike's partner, Jack, arrives but is doubtful of their story. The doll's body emerges from an air vent and starts to attack Jack. Karen manages to help Jack, and Mike shoots the body in the heart. With a burst of red substance, Chucky finally meets his end. The head delivers a final taunt. "Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?" The film concludes with a freeze frame of Andy's sorrowful expression as he walks out the door. And there you have it, Child's Play, the movie that went on to kickstart a decade-spanning franchise. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this recap of Chucky's origins, it would mean a lot to me if you gave this video a thumbs up, as it really helps me out with the algorithm. And make sure you subscribe to the channel for similar recaps in the future, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite Child's Play movie is. My favorite would have to be Child's Play 2. As I am fairly new to this, I welcome any and all feedback on these videos, and I'm happy to take movie suggestions on what to cover next. Thanks again, and until next time, bye-bye.